Hello everyone, Heather Leopard is here with this layout I created about my daughters for the 4th of July. So I used the Pebbles Land That I Love collection. I just love this actually. I'm usually not a fan of red, white, and blue collections for some reason, but this one is awesome. So what I did was I created a shooting star cut file, and I wanted to cut the stars out of 3 different pattern papers. So this first star is out of this really cute floral print, and you can see I've got some kind of star outlines and then some of the star insides, and then that little swish is part of the shooting star. Next, I cut the same exact file out of the red pattern paper, and actually I guess it wasn't exactly the same. They're all a little bit different. The stars are all the same, but the swishes are a little bit different. And you can download this from the link below. You can download this cut file for the silhouette in the link below. Next, what I wanted to do was cut smaller stars. And so what I did was I cut 4x4 squares that I will be able to place on my cutting mat. And I'm going to cut 3 stars out of each of the squares. So here I am just lining them up. I fit 3 across and 3 down at the bottom. Actually, there's only 2 at the bottom because I decided that I wanted to only do 8 stars here. I end up having a lot left over, but I'm going to reserve those and use them for another project. So the next step I'm going to do is take some white cardstock and figure out where I want my stars to go. But I'm kind of thinking that the white cardstock is a little too plain. So I spritzed some Heidi Swapp Sweet Cherry and Navy mist over the top of that. And then I placed my stars over it and realized again that it needed a little bit something else. So I cut out a coordinating pattern from this stripe design and I place it in the background. And so now I'm just fiddling with how I want it to weave in with those star outlines. And I just move it around here and there. And once I like the design, I want to go ahead and secure it, but I don't want to actually secure it to the page. I just want to fasten it together so it doesn't move. So I used my stapler here. And then I'm going to trim around the border of this really cute photo I took of my girls this past summer on the beach on the Big Island where we were celebrating the 4th of July. So now I'm adding the shooting star strips, and I want to go ahead and add them underneath the stars. So I keep the star there until I like the placement of the little swishes. And now I'm going to adhere it down with just a little bit of liquid adhesive. And once that dries, I'm going to run each one of those strips in under the sewing machine so that I can get some fun little stitching. So here I am just doing 1, 2, and 3. Just a straight stitch going from the middle of the star, working my way out. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking, you know, it'd be really cool to stitch a star on the background. So I placed a star here, and then with a pencil, I lightly marked a star design onto the paper, brought my sewing machine back, and basically played connect the dots with my sewing machine to make the star pattern here. And I ended up, I'm only showing you one of the stars, but I ended up doing 3 stars kind of wonky over the background, which you can kind of see there. And now I place the star above it, and I've got a lot of great texture with the misting and the machine stitching, and I'm finally ready to commit to my star. So I go ahead and adhere that down. And my next step is going to be to add additional stars around the page. And I just want to apologize real quick and let you know that I didn't realize that my page was so far down in the camera. I will adjust that and fix that in just a minute. So just bear with me. You'll be able to see more of the project. But what I'm trying to do here is just sprinkle some of the smaller stars that I cut from those 8 different pattern papers. And I'm going to sprinkle them around the page. Some of them are going to be just the star outlines, others will be solid stars, and then others will be a combination of the two where I adhere the outline down with some adhesive and then I adhere the solid stars with some foam dots. if you've seen any of my other process videos, you know that I like to move things around a lot. So I just want to make sure that I like the placement of them and that I like the way that the patterns are working together. So like I said, I just shuffle things around until I get to the right spot. And a lot of times whenever I'm working with a lot of different pieces, or maybe a whole bunch of smaller pieces, or even something like this, if I know that I'm going to have to remove the elements before I can adhere them down, like for instance, if I'm going to machine stitch on something, but I've already kind of designed the page and change my mind at the end to add some stitching, a lot of times I will take a photo of it so that I can go back and reference the placement of it. So just a little tip right there. So now what I'm doing is I am just finalizing all of the little details of the stars and actually adhering them down. And once I like the placement of everything, I'm going to create some layers behind my photo. And I went kind of light on the layers today. I felt like this layout was already quite busy enough, so I just added in some of the blue, and then I pulled some of the flag design from this pattern paper. As for the story behind this photo, we were lucky enough to spend 4th of July on the big island in Hawaii with some friends. So I snapped a couple of photos of our girls. And when I say a couple, I mean, you know, a couple thousand. But I snapped this photo along with some others of our girls showing their American pride with their flags and their really cute little sunglasses. So I thought this would be quite appropriate for this new collection. So what I did next was I started to look for some embellishments, and again, because I like to move elements around on a page, I actually cut the puffy stickers from the little plastic backer. And it's a good thing because I decided not to use that Oh My Stars one that I had placed over my photo. Instead, I decided to use a sticker right there that says Sparkle. Next, what I did was they've got these really awesome rub-ons that look like fireworks. So I decided to tuck one of them underneath the photo there and just rub that on. I got to tell you, these rub on really, really nice. So I was quite impressed with that. And now you can see me not knowing quite what to do next here. So I'm like, do I tuck this under here? Do I put some other embellishments on? And then I'm like, no, actually I need to add some more rub-on. So I have these little puffy sticker stars that are also part of the collection and decided to do some rub-ons underneath them, and then I place the star right on top of them so it kind of looks like it's, there we go, coming out of the star, like the star is shining. And so that was a small one, and now I'm going to add a medium size one down here at the bottom, and I'm going to add a little bit larger star. Isn't that cute? So, oh, looks like I add one more. I must have forgotten about that one. I add another medium one up in the upper left, so I guess I'm doing my power of 3 with this design here, and add yet a final puffy star. Now I'm going to go ahead and commit to the sparkle because it ended up growing on me and I actually forgot that I did it. So this is a really cool American flag sticker sheet of puffy little dots. I would say they're kind of like enamel dots, except that they're that matte puffy sticker finish. And now I'm trying to decide, what am I going to do with this title? I cannot believe I forgot to do the title. So I do that a lot, I'll admit. I oftentimes end up working the title at the end, and somehow it just works out for me. I think subconsciously I've probably designed it, but in the meantime I'm thinking, okay, now that I don't know what I'm doing with my title, let me see what other embellishments I have. So I look through all these awesome die cuts and I decide to add a tag, but I've got to peel it up just a little bit, and I want to make sure that it fits in there, because obviously if it doesn't, then it's not going to work. So I trim it down just a little bit, and perfect fit. So now it's time to face the music, as they say, and figure out where in the world am I going to put this title. So I end up deciding on doing kind of a title at the top as well as carried down to the bottom. So I like the stars and stripes. So I placed that really cute script font up at the top around the top of the stars and stripes. And then underneath the photo, I put forever. And look at the back of the letters. They have like a blue backing behind them, which is really cool. So it just ever so slightly shows, and I just think that's really fun and funky. Okay, so for this tag, I wanted to make sure that it stopped where I wanted it to stop. So I just lifted that photo up since it was just adhered lightly with foam dots and added some small foam dots underneath the tag. That way when I insert it, it stops exactly where I want. And so now I'm just going to add a couple of more little embellishments, mostly from that same thicker sheet, and I'm done. So this is the finished layout. I hope you like it, and again, make sure to download the cut file that I created. It's down in the description below, and I hope that you have a great day. Thanks so much for stopping by.